Are you ready?
It's gonna be a hot girl disco summer. Wait, I'm never doing that again. I apologize. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Here, let's fix it. Something cool. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy BDE, and we got you guys on another Week 10 GameScripts Gods banger video for you. And I'm telling you right now, today, we're not doing the safe consensus copy and paste analysis you see everywhere else. No, we're going to get weird. GameScript God is a player who has already shown real fantasy upside, but this week, the matchup, the usage, the game environment align perfectly for them to give you the league-winning edge that you need in your lineups this week for Week 10. These are 4 outlier Week 10 starts that will make your opponent say, bro, how did you know to start him? Oh, and listen, if you came here for chalk rankings, safe lineup decisions, you're in the wrong freaking place. This community is called Big Draft Energy because we put in the hours, we study the matchups, we watch the actual film, and most importantly, we take stands that other content creators won't. That's why the motto will always be, let's get freaking weird. Stick around until the very end, because after we reveal one GameScript God at each position, I'll also give you our Week 10 top 20 RB rankings, our top 20 wide receiver rankings, our top 15 quarterbacks and tight ends. And I'm also giving you betting props and explainer breakdowns so you know why the matchup hits and why it's going to hit for you in your bank. Let's get weird. If you want to support the channel, the biggest and easiest thing that you could do is the following. 1, smash that like button because it really does go a long way helping the YouTube algorithm pick us up. 2, subscribe and join the community. All right, that's enough talking, guys. Without further ado, you guys know the drill. Let's get weird. Rocky, you want to get weird? Coming in at number 1 on our Smash Start players for Week 10, the guy's on the thumbnail. It's none other than Mr. Jaxson Dart. And listen, Chicago has quietly become a quarterback matchup funnel. Over the last 4 weeks, they've given up 19.9 fantasy points, which is the 10th most in the NFL to the opposing quarterbacks. On the entire season, they've allowed the 7th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, allowing 19.6. And when you're looking at the last 4 games, they've given up a lot of production against quarterbacks who are not tremendous and don't have a lot of upside. For example, when you look back at Week 6, they allowed Jaden Daniels to put up quarterback 5 numbers, who he finished with 22.6 fantasy points coming off of an injury. He had 211 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and also rushed for 52 yards on 10 attempts. Then in Week 7, they let Spencer Rattler put up 13.5 fantasy points, which led him to finish as a QB 16 on the week. They allowed Rattler and the Saints pass attack to carve him up for 233 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Had Rattler not thrown 3 picks in that game, he would have finished much higher on the week. Week 8, when the Bears lost to the Ravens with Tyler Snoop Huntley at the helm, they gave up 39 rushing yards to Snoop Huntley on just 3 rush attempts. Week 9, they gave up 32.7 fantasy points to Joe Flacco, who finished the game with 32.7 fantasy points. That was QB2 numbers, okay? And this week, they get Jaxson Dart, who in his last 4 fantasy football matchups, he's been averaging QB3 numbers, averaging 23.4 fantasy points per game, no matter the matchup. Dart's rushing yards prop right now is at 41.5 rushing yards, and I'm willing to ladder that up to 60 because he's been averaging just under 50 yards rushing in the last 4 outings. And I'm also willing to bet the over on his 14.5 longest rush prop. Jesus Christ, that was long-winded. In 2 out of the last 4 outings, the Bears have allowed Snoop Huntley with a long rush of 29 yards and JD5 for a long rush of over 18 yards. Now, I'm telling you right now, Spencer Rattler, yes, he's mobile, but it's a weird offense. We're not going to give that any credence as to why he didn't go over 14 and a half or 15 yards for his longest rush. And then everybody knows Joe Flacco's not running the ball. All right, so we love that. We love Mr. Jaxson Dart. Coming in at number 2 in our Smash Starts of the week is none other than Sam Laporta against the Washington Commanders. If you guys know Disco, you guys know BDE, you know I'm the original Laporta supporter. In May when he was drafted, I called him as a tight end one. I had people laugh at me. I had content creators literally tell me to S their D, and we're not going to say it and repeat it or tell you guys who the content creator was, but they could go fuck themselves. The Commanders, okay, and this is why we like Sam Laporta so much. The Commanders give up a crap ton of production to the slot and the tight end. Obviously, we love Amon-Ra St. Brown in this matchup because he leads the Lions in snaps and targets from the slot position, but he is an S tier player who doesn't qualify for what this video is about. The Commanders against the tight end, they allow over the last 4 weeks the 6 most fantasy points, and everything we talk about here is PPR format. The 6 most fantasy points allowed in the last 4 weeks, which equates to 18.65, and then on the entire season, they also allow the 6 most fantasy points to the tight end position, allowing 15.92 fantasy points. And in Laporta's last 4 outings, week 5, he was a tight end 4 with 20.2 fantasy points. Week 6, tight end 4 with 16.5 fantasy points. Week 7, it was an awful week, whatever. Week 8, he had a bye. Week 9, he was the tight end 4 with 21.7 fantasy points. Laporta is a fantasy monster. Second half of the season, every single year he's been in the NFL, and he's got one of the best matchups in football. When it comes to betting, we like Sam Laporta over 49.5 receiving yards or over his 19.5 longest reception. Why? In the last 2 weeks, the Washington Commanders have given up the 4th most receiving yards to the position, allowing 87.5 receiving yards to tight ends. And on the season, the Commanders allow the 2nd most yards per reception, allowing 12.04 yards per reception. In the Commanders' last 2 outings, their defense allowed a longest reception of 26 yards in Week 9 to Elijah Arroyo. And then prior to that, in Week 8, they allowed Travis Kelce to go for a longest reception of 38 yards. It felt like every reception for Travis Kelce was a longest reception. It was one of our number 1 locks. I'll never forget that. All right, coming in at number 3, we got Quinshon Judkins against the New York Jets, and the Jets defense continues to provide elite production to running backs. The Jets for the last 4 outings, they've given up the 8th most fantasy points to running backs, allowing 23.8 fantasy points per game. And on the season, they allowed the 11th most fantasy points to running backs, allowing 22.99. And in their last 2 outings, in Week 8 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, Chase Brown finished with 25.5 fantasy points, finishing as the RB5. Week 7 versus Carolina, they allowed Rico Dowdle, who finished with 10.6, and Chuba Hubbard finished with 7.5. And if you put that together, it's just over 18 fantasy points, which would have been the RB12 on the week. Look at Quinshon Judkins to bounce back off of an injured shoulder and a bye week with vengeance. His rushing yards prop is at 85.5, and we love the over here simply because the Jets defense have been allowing the 6th most rushing yards on a per game basis with an average of 108.62 yards per game. And they lost their main run stopper in the middle in Quinnen Williams, who we just saw get traded to the Dallas Cowboys earlier this week on the November 4th NFL trade deadline. Coming in at number 4, and the guy who's going to represent the wide receivers, and I get it, whatever. It's Tetaroa McMillan, and I'm very, very, very good. Very in on him. Very good on. I'm very in on him. Sorry, I'm going on like no sleep. And I'll tell you why. The Saints have been putrid against the wide receiver position and have only gotten worse in the last 4 matchups, allowing the 8th most fantasy points to the wide receiver position at just 34.73. Why do we like Tet when he's been borderline useless? For starters, the Saints allow the 9th highest ADOT at 8.25 yards per route. That's average depth of target, and Tet is averaging like an elite 18.5 air yards per reception. The Saints allow the 4th most receiving touchdowns on the year when they are in man defense, allowing 11. And Tet has won over 99 of his routes against man defense, which is top 16 in the NFL amongst every qualifying wide receiver who's run over 80 routes or so. The writing is on the wall for an elite outing. My favorite betting prop for Tet on the week is for him to go over his 20.5 longest reception prop. And the Saints have allowed a wide receiver who lines up at the X position, the X wide receiver, to go over 24 yards in each of their last 4 outings. Tet has the 4th most snaps from the X position in the NFL at 266 and the 3rd highest wide receiver snap percentage amongst all wide receivers at 77.08. So that's why we like Tet. Those are our 4 guys that we're really in on this week. So here is our pick'em ticket lock. Make sure you guys use promo code DISCO when you sign up on Drafters Fantasy Sports to double your first deposit anywhere between 25 to 100. So say you put 25, you'll have 50. Say you put 50, you'll have 100, all the way up to 100 where you have $200. So we got Laporta over 19.5 longest reception, Tet over 20.5 longest reception. We like Jaxson Dart over 14.5 longest rush, and we like Quinshon Judkins over his 85.5 rushing yards. Yeah, you like that. You like that. We like that. All right, now time for our Week 10 NFL Fantasy Top 20 PPR wide receivers. In the S tier, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown at number 1. Number 2, we got Puka Nacua versus the 49ers. Number 3, we got Jackson Smith and Jigba against the Arizona Cardinals. Number 4, we got Justin Jefferson against the Baltimore Ravens. Number 5, this one's going to come as a shocker. And rounding out our S tiers, Rome Odunze against the New York Giants. If you guys watched our sleepers video, we loved Olamide Zaccheaus. That's a tongue twister. We liked him because of his slot usage and the slot upside. And the Giants give up the 4th most fantasy points to slot wide receivers on a weekly basis. When Zaccheaus is not aligned in the slot, it's Rome Odunze. And Rome Odunze typically motions in there when they're in 2 wide receiver sets. And he's in every 2 wide receiver / 3 wide receiver set. So we love Rome Odunze to bounce back in such a way. Starting off our A tier, we got Drake London in Berlin against the Indianapolis Colts. It's going to be a little bit weird. It's going to be a little bit finicky, especially with Sauce Gardner there. But we just saw him cook Christian Gonzalez and put up 34 fantasy points plus. He was absolutely elite against my New England Patriots. I'm glad we won. Next, we got Nico Collins at number 7 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 8, we got Emeka Egbuka against my New England Patriots. And rounding out the A tier, we got Devontae Adams against the San Francisco 49ers. Starting off our B tier, we got Cortland Sutton, who plays tonight against the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 11, we got A.J. Brown against the Green Bay Packers. 12, we got Tetaroa McMillan against the New Orleans Saints. Number 13, we got Ladd McConkey against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 14, we got Michael Pittman Jr. against the Atlanta Falcons. And number 15, we got Jalen Waddle against the Buffalo Bills, rounding out our B tier. Starting off our C tier in the last 5 on the list, we got Wan'Dale Robinson at number 16 against the Chicago Bears because they give up a heck of a lot of production to the slot position. He's been absolutely elite in plus matchups when defenses give up a lot of production to that. Then we got Zay Flowers. Then we got at number 17. Then we got Chris Olave at number 18. Devonta Smith, number 19, and Marvin Harrison Jr. rounding out our top 20 at number 20. Now, when it comes to running back rankings, S tier, coming in number 1, we got Jonathan Taylor. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. 3, James Cook. 4, Jahmyr Gibbs. 5, Bijan Robinson. 6, Devon Achane, rounding out our S tier. Starting off our A tier, we got 7, Josh Jacobs. In the same matchup at number 8, we got Saquon Barkley. Number 9, we got Kyren Williams. I actually like Kyren Williams to be like S tier type of back. I think he's going to have a serious revenge game against the San Francisco 49ers because if you guys recall, the last time they faced the San Francisco 49ers, they were like 2 touchdown favorites and everybody was injured. Everybody was dead. They ended up losing and they lost because Kyren Williams fumbled on the red zone. So I think he's going to bounce back. I also like him for an anytime touchdown. 10, we got Rico Dowdle. Number 11, we got Quinshon Judkins. And number 12, we got Derrick Henry, rounding out our A tier. Starting off our B tier, we got number 13, Jalen Warren. Number 14, Travion Henderson. Number 15, Kenneth Walker. Number 16, J.K. Dobbins. And J.K. Dobbins is rounding out our B tier. Starting off our C tier, we got Kyle Monangai or DeAndre Swift. If DeAndre Swift is healthy and he plays, then DeAndre Swift is going to be the 17. If he's not healthy, then it's Kyle Monangai. Number 18, we got Breece Hall. Number 19, we got Ashton Genty. And rounding out our Week 10 top 20 running backs, we got Tyrone Tracy. Now, our top 15 PPR tight ends, S tier, coming in number 1 is Trey McBride. Number 2, we got Aronde Gadsden. Number 3, we got Brock Bowers. Number 4, Sam Laporta. Number 5, rounding out our S tier, is Tyler Warren. Starting off our A tier, we got Dallas Goedert at number 6. Number 7, Kyle Pitts. Number 8 is George Kittle. Number 9 is Dalton Kincaid. And then number 10, this one's a shocker. And honestly, I was going to rank him at tight end 1 because I believe in my heart of hearts he's going to finish as a tight end 1. But his floor, I believe, is tight end 10. His ceiling is tight end 1. That's none other than Taysom Hill, rounding out our A tier. Starting off our B tier, we only have 2 players in the B tier. We got Hunter Henry at number 11 and Mark Andrews at number 12. Starting off our C tier, we got Colston Loveland at number 13. Number 14, we got Harold Fannin Jr., and I think he has the upside to finish a little bit higher this week, but because the New York Jets are putrid against the tight end, but he is splitting snaps and targets with David Njoku, so it's really tough to project. But one of them has top 10 upside. Which one is it going to be? I don't know. I'm willing to start both of them. And number 15, we got Evan Ingram, who plays tonight against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think Evan Ingram can actually finish a lot higher. I'm very, very high on Evan Ingram. All right, now, Week 10 fantasy football quarterbacks, S tier. We're not beating around the bush. Jaxson Dart is our QB1 this week. We like Jaxson Dart as our quarterback 1. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Drake May. Rounding out our S tier at number 5 is Jalen Hurts. Starting off our B tier, our A tier, is Justin Herbert at number 6, Bo Nix at number 7, Matthew Stafford at number 8, Jared Goff at number 9, Baker Mayfield at number 10. Starting off our B tier, we got Caleb Williams at number 11, Sam Darnold number 12, Jordan Love number 13, number 14, Daniel Jones, number 15. Rounding out our B tier is Mr. JJ McCarthy. And that concludes the video, guys. As always, shout out to our sponsors, Drafters Fantasy. Use promo code DISCO to double your first deposit, dollar for dollar, up to $100, and you can tail us on this pick'em ticket right here. Use promo code DISCO. It's a great way to help support the dream. And this could 10x your money. You could go all the way up to 8 props. That would 100x your money. But we like this as our week 10 lock. So yeah, we got 4 juicy props there. Shout out to our sponsors, Better Vision. And shout out to our sponsors, Bull Rush, and also shout out to my business partner, Sleazebomb. The link to the guys' FF Patreon, which is one of the fastest growing fantasy football communities, where Sleaze and I both give advice to you guys on a whim. Like, if you guys have a question, we'll answer it right then and there in our premium Discord. It's a $5 minimum to enter. It's extremely affordable with all the money on the line for your fantasy football championships. What's $5 a month? Honestly, it's a great investment. That's what the fuck it is. Okay. Yeah, if you guys like the video, smash the like. If you haven't subscribed yet, what the fuck are you doing? Please subscribe. It takes 2 seconds, costs you nothing, means the absolute world. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you guys for all the comments. Leave a comment below. I'll try to get to every last one of them. And you guys could catch myself and Sleazebomb live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can catch us live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time prior to the kickoff, where we'll answer all of your start sit questions. If you have DFS needs, if that's what you're into, because before we were big draft energy, we were big DFS energy, then we got you on that as well. We got you guys on some betting locks as well. We got 2 juicy props that we absolutely love for tonight's game that are going to hit in 3x your dollar-ooskies. Once again, use promo code DISCO to double your first deposit and your first bets on the house. And then you guys could catch us live Saturday at 7 p.m. I'll be joined by my co-host with the most, Sleazebomb. I'll also be joined by Who Hames, who has been an incredible addition. Make sure you guys subscribe to Who Hames as well. And I'll be joined by Joe Frick, who's one of my favorite content creators on the planet. And he and I have been incredibly competitive this year in terms of our rankings, just because I smacked him around in last year's fantasy football championships in a league that he runs. It was IDP. I don't do IDP, but I do winning. That's what we do here at Big Draft Energy, guys. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. And until next time, peace. Time for the best outro in fantasy football. Right, Rocky? Right?